Once upon a time, in a quaint little village, nestled between rolling green hills and a glistening river, lived a young woman named Emily. She was 20 years old, with mesmerizing blue eyes that reflected the sky and golden hair that shone like the morning sun. Despite being born into a humble family, Emily carried a heart full of dreams and a mind rich with stories. Her family had little in the way of material wealth, but their love for each other was immeasurable. They resided in a modest wooden house at the edge of the village, where laughter filled the air, and kindness was the foundation of their lives. Emily had an insatiable love for books. She spent hours under the shade of an old oak tree near her home, escaping into worlds beyond her own, imagining a life filled with adventure and possibility. She often dreamed of a day when she could rise above her circumstances and explore the great wonders beyond her village. Though her family was poor, they never let their hardships define them. They found joy in simple things, meals shared together, stories told by the fireplace, and the beauty of nature that surrounded them. One day, as the sun bathed the village in golden light, Emily made her way to the bustling village market. The marketplace was always alive with chatter, the fragrance of fresh bread and blooming flowers lingering in the air. It was there that she met John, a tall and handsome young man with dark hair and a warm, kind smile. John belonged to a wealthy family that owned vast lands and a grand estate on the outskirts of the village. Unlike many of the other rich villagers, John did not let wealth define his character. He was gentle, compassionate, and curious about the world beyond material riches. Emily and John struck up a conversation, their words flowing effortlessly as if they had known each other for years. They shared laughter, exchanged thoughts on books and dreams, and found solace in each other's company. Over the next few weeks, their bond grew stronger. They often met by the river, walking along its banks, watching the water shimmer under the moonlight. John would tell Emily of his dreams, of traveling, of making a difference in the world. Emily, in turn, shared her hopes of learning, growing, and one day finding a purpose beyond the village. As their friendship deepened, love blossomed between them. One evening, under a sky ablaze with stars, John took Emily's hands in his and said, "Emily, I love you. Will you marry me?" His voice trembled with hope and sincerity. Emily's heart swelled with joy. "Yes, John, I love you too," she whispered, tears of happiness glistening in her eyes. They held each other tightly, their hearts beating as one, dreaming of a future filled with love and endless possibilities. However, their happiness was short-lived. When John shared the news of his love for Emily with his parents, their reaction was anything but joyous. His mother, a proud and aristocratic woman, frowned in disapproval. "John, you cannot marry Emily. She is not from a wealthy family. You deserve someone of your status," she declared. His father, a stern businessman, nodded in agreement. "You must think of the family's name and reputation. We will not support this marriage." John pleaded with them, trying to make them see that love mattered more than wealth, but his parents refused to listen. "If you choose to marry her, you will do so without our blessing or support," his father warned. Emily, too, learned of John's struggle. She saw the pain in his eyes and felt the weight of the burden he carried. Her own family, though heartbroken for her, advised her to consider the difficulties that lay ahead. "Emily," her mother said gently, "we want you to be happy, But we do not want you to suffer. If John's family does not accept you, your life together may be full of hardships. Tears stained Emily's cheeks as she lay awake night after night, torn between her love for John and the reality of their circumstances. She could not bear to be the cause of his suffering, nor could she ask him to give up everything for her. Finally, with a heavy heart, she made a painful decision. The next morning, she met John beneath the oak tree where they had spent so many joyful hours. "John," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I love you more than anything, but I cannot let you sacrifice your family for me. It is better if we do not marry. I do not want to make your life difficult." John's heart shattered. "Emily, I cannot live without you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I will always love you, no matter what." They embraced, tears mingling, knowing that though their love was true, the world had placed obstacles they could not overcome. They vowed to remain friends, to support each other, even if they could not be together. Their love was deep, but sometimes love alone was not enough. Years passed. Emily dedicated herself to her family in the village. She worked tirelessly, helping those in need, spreading kindness wherever she went. John, too, carried on, though his heart never quite healed. He took over his family's business, proving himself to be a fair and compassionate leader. Though he had wealth, his heart remained with Emily, whom he thought of every day. Then, fate intervened. One day, Emily's father fell gravely ill. She did everything she could to care for him, but her resources were limited. When John heard of her father's condition, he rushed to her side. "Emily, let me help," he said. He brought medicine, food, and financial support, ensuring that her father received the best care. Slowly, her father recovered, and Emily's heart swelled with gratitude. "John, you have a kind heart," she said, holding his hands. "Thank you for everything." "I will always be here for you, Emily," he replied. As they spent more time together, the love they had once shared rekindled, burning brighter than before. John realized he could not live without her, and this time he was ready to fight for their love. "Emily, I have saved enough. I do not need my parents' approval anymore. Will you be with me?" he asked, determination shining in his eyes. Emily hesitated, afraid of causing him pain again. But as she looked into his eyes, she saw the same love, the same unwavering devotion she had always known. "Yes, John, I will be with you," she finally said. They married in a simple yet beautiful ceremony, surrounded by friends and Emily's family. Though John's parents did not attend, their absence did not dim the joy of the day. Together, Emily and John built a new life, one based on love, resilience, and unwavering support for one another. Years later, they looked back at their journey, grateful for every struggle and triumph. They had faced adversity and emerged stronger, proving that true love, when nurtured with patience and courage, could overcome even the greatest obstacles. They lived out their days happily, always cherishing the love that had bound them together from the very start. And so, Emily and John lived happily ever after, knowing that true love never fades. It only grows stronger with time. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you in any way, please like, subscribe, and share.